The navigational rules, commonly called the rules of the road, direct the operation of boats and specify light and sound signals in order to prevent collisions. According to the Coast Guard, the majority of boat-to-boat collisions are the direct result of not knowing or not following the established navigation rules. A copy of the most recent inland navigational rules must be kept for reference on board all boats of 39 feet 4 inches or more in length, operating on inland and coastal waters. Coastal waters are defined as those waters seaward of the line of demarcation. The line of demarcation is noted on all official charts by a dashed line. The navigation rules of the road contained in this video course summarize basic navigation rules for which a boat owner is responsible. Here are the basic navigation rules that all boaters must follow. We'll start with the rules that are applicable to all vessels at all times. The rule of responsibility states that all boaters must boat in a reasonable and prudent manner, consistent with the ordinary practices of recreational boating. Nothing in the navigation rules relieves any vessel or the owner, operator, or crew from the consequences of any neglect to comply with these rules, or of the neglect of any precaution which may be required by the ordinary practice of recreational boating, or by the special circumstances of any situation. The rules do allow for the departure from the rules when necessary to avoid immediate danger. In interpreting and following these rules, due regard shall be had to all dangers of navigation and collision, and to any special circumstances, including the limitations of the vessels involved, which may make a departure from the rules necessary to avoid immediate danger. Collisions are most often caused by a boat operator who does not know the navigation rules. To determine the risk of collision, you need to use all available means appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions to determine if risk of collision exists. If there is any doubt, such risk shall be deemed to exist. A risk of collision exists if the compass bearing of an approaching vessel does not appreciably change and the range between the two boats decreases. When operating in narrow channels, keep near to the right side of the channel and avoid anchoring in a narrow channel. A powerboat operating on the western rivers and Great Lakes waters and proceeding downbound with the following current shall have the right-of-way over an upbound vessel. The following rules apply to all boats operating in clear daylight hours. There are clear distinctions in the rules between the interaction of two power vessels, two sailing vessels, or when a power-driven vessel interacts with the sailing vessel. When two sailing vessels are interacting, when each has the wind on a different side, the vessel which has the wind on the port side shall keep out of the way of the other. The windward side is the side opposite to that on which the mainsail is carried. When both have the wind on the same side, the vessel which is windward shall keep out of the way of the vessel which is leeward. All boaters need to know the proper rules for overtaking another vessel. The rule is very simple. Any vessel overtaking any other shall keep out of the way of the vessel being overtaken. If in doubt as to whether you are overtaking another vessel, assume that you are and act accordingly. The next two rules, head-on and crossing, only apply when two powerboats are interacting. They do not apply to a powerboat and sailing vessel encounter, or even between two sailboats. Head-on situation exists when two power-driven vessels are meeting on reciprocal or nearly reciprocal courses, so as to involve risk of collision. In this situation, each powerboat alters her course to starboard, so that each passes on the port side of the other. In other words, they each have the bow of their boat aimed at the bow of the other, and the proper maneuver is to turn to the right and pass port side to port side. A crossing situation exists when two power-driven vessels are crossing so as to involve risk of collision. In this situation, the vessel which has the other on its starboard side shall keep out of the way and must avoid crossing ahead of the other vessel. There are distinct responsibilities between vessels that govern how certain boats must interact with other boats on the water. The first of these rules states that a power-driven vessel underway shall keep out of the way of a sailing vessel. The power-driven vessel must take early and substantial action to stay well clear and out of the sailing vessel's way, regardless of the angle of approach. As just mentioned, every vessel which is directed to keep out of the way of another vessel must take early and substantial action to keep well clear. When staying out of the way, or acting as a give-way vessel, Make your course changes large and obvious, and in plenty of time to avoid a collision. As the give-way vessel, do not make small, incremental changes, as the other vessel may not clearly see or understand your course change, and may not know your intentions. This is especially true at night, when the only visible part of your vessel may be the navigation lights. The stand-on vessel needs to see your boat's lights change to know that you are taking action to avoid a collision. While the give-way vessel must keep out of the way, the stand-on vessel is to maintain course and speed. Boats don't have turn signals and must use maneuvering and warning signals to communicate with other boats. There are two distinct sound signals all boaters need to know: a short blast and a prolonged blast. A short blast means a blast of about 1 second duration. A prolonged blast means a blast from 4 to 6 seconds duration. All recreational boaters need to know the appropriate signals. When power-driven vessels are in sight of one another and meeting or crossing at a distance within half a mile of each other, each vessel underway, when maneuvering is authorized or required by these rules, shall indicate that maneuver by the following signals on her whistle. One short blast to mean, "I intend to leave you on my port side." Two short blasts to mean, "I intend to leave you on my starboard side." If in agreement, the other vessel shall sound the identical signal. If in doubt, sound the danger signal, which consists of 5 or more rapid blasts in quick succession. When a power-driven vessel is leaving a dock or berth, sound one prolonged blast. When a power-driven vessel is operating reverse or astern propulsion, sound 3 short blasts. Another situation you will encounter that requires sound signals is the overtaking situation. A power-driven vessel intending to overtake another power-driven vessel shall indicate these intentions by the following signals on the whistle. One short blast to mean, "I intend to overtake you on your starboard side." Two short blasts to mean, "I intend to overtake you on your port side." And the power-driven vessel about to be overtaken shall, if in agreement, sound a similar sound signal. If in doubt, or you don't understand the signals from the other boat, use the danger signal. In order to make the appropriate sound signals, the law requires boats to carry sound signaling devices on board. All vessels of less than 39.4 feet in length must carry some means of making an efficient sound signal. Some examples of an efficient sound signaling device may be a whistle or a horn, either mechanical or freon. Up to this point, we've covered the basic rules for clear daylight operation. Now let's look at what is required for nighttime and restricted visibility operation. First, all boats must have the proper navigation lights, and they must be in good working order. A masthead light means a white light showing an unbroken light over an arc of the horizon of 225 degrees, and so fixed as to show the light from right ahead to 22.5 degrees abaft the beam on either side of the vessel. Side lights mean a green light on the starboard side and a red light on the port side, each showing an unbroken light over an arc of the horizon of 112.5 degrees, and so fixed as to show the light from right ahead to 22.5 degrees abaft the beam on its respective side. On most recreational boats, the side lights are combined in one lantern, commonly called a combination bow light. Stern light means a white light placed as nearly as practicable at the stern, showing an unbroken light over an arc of the horizon of 135 degrees. An all-round white light is generally found on most recreational powerboats and takes the place of the stern light and masthead lights. The all-round light must not be obstructed and be high enough for all other boats to see. Operating in reduced visibility is extremely difficult, even for the experienced mariner. In addition to the operating rules, there are accompanying sound signals that must be sounded when in or near areas of reduced visibility. All recreational boat operators should read the complete navigation rules to learn the appropriate signals and other important information. Another requirement of the navigation rules is for boaters to know distress signals. When a vessel is in distress and requires assistance, the operator can use or exhibit the signals shown in your manual. Depending on where you are operating your boat, you may also be required to carry Coast Guard-approved visual distress signals. These will be discussed later in the video. The operator or individual in charge of a vessel involved in a marine casualty must render necessary assistance so far as the operator or individual in charge can do so, without serious danger to the operator's or individual's vessel. All operators involved in a marine casualty must exchange name, address, and identification of the vessel, and there is a duty to provide assistance at sea to any individual found in danger of being lost. As stated at the beginning of this section, the majority of boat-to-boat collisions are the direct result of not knowing or following the navigation rules. All recreational boat operators should learn the rules thoroughly to make you a safer and more confident boater.